Two drunk assholes talking about whatever comes to mind. We present Filler with Jack Fike and Rob Harper. Filler is Jack and my insane rambling. We start off this filler talking about Jack's idea that the Scarlet Witch will end up being Coulson's cellist girlfriend, which I doubt is true, but it's an interesting idea. Then we go on to some more Avengers ideas, superhero movie crossovers, and we finish up with some comic talk and art appreciation. Please do note that we are extremely drunk during these recordings, so if we do sound like unintelligent fools, just forgive us. If Coulson was about maybe 10 years younger, your theory about the cellist being the Scarlet Witch, or if they hadn't cast a really young girl, because I think as it is now, that Olsen girl is just, it'd be a little disturbing her dating Coulson. He's just too old. But if they had cast someone who's slightly older, or if he was younger, your theory about her being the Scarlet Witch is like 100% awesome.
And see, I've heard, a long time ago, I heard that in the Captain America movie, Child Coulson is there with a handful of cards, wanting to get them, like, you just see him, like, all, like, hey, I want...
Like the original Captain America movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
That would make him...
I think it was a deleted scene, that...
But...
It'd make him even older.
It was just some kid.
Yeah.
But that was 1942.
Yeah. That would make Coulson... That would make Coulson...
42, so.
That would make Coulson older than my dad. My dad was born in 41.
Yeah, like, so it would make him almost, almost as old as, say, like, in between our fathers and our grandfathers. Like,
yeah,
he would
be old, yeah.
Old. Like
80s.
70, 80.
80s,
like,
yeah. Because if he was, like, even if he was, like, 7, he'd be almost 80. So you think Coulson's immortal?
I'm just thinking, people, I heard that theory.
Coulson's Wolverine? When they merge universes, all of a sudden Coulson's ching.
But I've heard that theory, so I was...
He was there, it just doesn't make sense. Although, none of it makes sense time-wise, if they're going, like, Marvel time, because, like, once again, Magneto had been 100, like, because he was a teenager in World War II. So, they compressed their time anyways. So, and the like, X-Men were, like, teenagers in the 60s, and now they're just in their 30s, so it's like, all the time's all screwed up anyways in the Marvel Universe. So maybe they're just doing that with the movies, too. They're like, don't think about it, don't count numbers.
But I'm just wondering in what capacity the Olsen is in this movie. Is it a flashback? Is it a scene from Days Gone By? Oh yes, and she eventually she's got a thing for music and blah blah blah. Come to present day, or is it she going to be playing the present day? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I assume she's present day Scarlet Witch because what's his name? Kick-Ass is Quicksilver.
But again, what if this harkens back to
trying to be like First Class, where it's like takes place in the 60s or 70s.
Yeah, and this is I was dealing with these people back in the 60s,
where they're not even a major part of this.
But
so you don't think they're joining the Avengers?
Well, track with me here.
Okay.
And my theory is that an ancient Ant-Man would have had to have people to hang out with, right?
See, you think
Ant-Man,
young Michael Douglas is...
Yeah, he goes, I remember the day remember that Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch and the Super Patriot and the Human Bear, and then they showed his
Submariner. Do you think Submariner is part of the Fantastic Four universe?
Probably.
Yeah, he was very connected with it. They've never even mentioned him in any movie.
Why would you? He's a douche.
He is a douche, but he's supposed to be a douche.
But
that was his lovableness, that he's such a douche.
But I'm just thinking, and then you'd see that, like, Paul Rudd's Lang going, that's great. I stole your helmet, and now
I'm getting a lecture about...
But, yeah, hey, I already have a father, so, like, if this is some sort of, morality lesson, don't really need it. That's what I'm thinking. And then that character, obviously she can't play in current day Scarlet Witch, but I'm just saying.
That would really be timey-wimey.
And that's why I mentioned the first appearance of Coulson and the other one. It looks like things are timey-wimey. There's...
Or
Because Michael Douglas could wax nostalgic about his days as Ant-Man before handing off the mantle. And here's Quicksilver, here's...
But wouldn't that be awesome if Coulson is like part of Weapon X and he lost his memories and he's actually a lot older than he thinks he is? Because even that scene with him getting his brain done is a little Weapon X-y.
Coulson lost his memories? And had others implanted? I'm not buying it. There's been no mention of that at all.
Wait till he pops his claws, that's all I'm saying.
Quite frankly, but not all the Weapon X's had claws.
He's Deadpool. Or Maverick, or who else is Weapon X? Kane? There's a bunch of them. Sabretooth.
Yeah. No,
he's actually Silver Fox.
I'm guessing, well, actually, Silver Fox is...
the girl we think should be Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know what they're doing. Who knows? It could be. Whedon's a nut job. It could be anything. They all fall through a portal back in time.
And all anyone has to say to me is, well, why? What's the end game? Sure, there's storytelling, but storytelling's never enough for Hollywood. Yeah. Sure, there's a building of a lush thing to introduce characters and to start expanding pretty limited. It's a pretty sparse hero scape in the...
Like the actual superheroes.
The comic book Marvel universe is saturated.
Yeah.
The cinematic is...
There's like 5.
Pretty sparse.
And even the 5, only like, not all of them have powers.
No, some of them are just people that are superhuman in the fact that they're genetically gifted. But so someone says, well, what's the end game? What is he trying to accomplish? And I couldn't say, okay, thinking like a Hollywood douchebag. And I'm not saying Joss Whedon is. I'm not saying anyone up to...
But the execs might be.
Or thinking by like an executive, I would say, they're thinking of making a X-Men movie over at the competition.
Yeah.
We just need them on screen for 15 minutes. And now that's who they are. That's what they look like. As soon as the X-Men come out, and who are these chumps? No, Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, we already saw them over here. You got some imposters. And they can be like, but they're not imposters. It's the same characters, just different actors. We're just gonna... No, we already saw it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they cut to, like,
but I think,
punch.
But the difference is that the X-Men movie's coming out before the Avengers.
Well, see, I didn't know they were steamrolling that until very recently.
The X-Men movie's coming out this summer, where Avengers is next summer.
But the planning stages, they probably didn't know exactly. I didn't know exactly.
I don't think they realized that they both had Quicksilver into it until the news got a hold of it.
And
I just find it hilarious that they're like, yeah, he's an X-Men character. No, he's an Avenger. It's like, well, yeah, you're both right. There's no denying that he was both. They could put Beast in both. You could say the same argument over Beast. Only Beast is a little more X-Men, but still, he was an Avenger.
The Beast would have been a very small percentage as opposed to...
Well, Quicksilver's like one of the originals. He's, issue 4 or something, they joined the team.
And Scarlet Witch, longevity alone, she was an Avenger for years and years.
Even longer than Quicksilver. So. Yeah, I don't think they're allowed to use Scarlet Witch in the X-Men. But since Quicksilver has been in X-Men, and he's been in X-Factor and all those, he was enough. It must be a percentage thing. But Scarlet Witch isn't there, so that's kind of weird. Or they just decide not to use Scarlet Witch, I guess. It just annoys me that the companies just can't work together and just share some profits and... Okay, your character's in our movie for 10% of the movie? Okay, you get 10% of the profits kind of thing. Just do percentages.
If you want our homosexual British guy in our Spider-Man costume to swing through there, say a quip, and then swing out, okay, we just need 100,000.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's nothing.
That's a drop in the bucket. But people will lose their fool
Or
minds.
Wolverine just showing up, especially if they do your timey-wimey and all of a sudden Wolverine's there. That'd be fucking awesome.
The Avengers are doing a scene like waiting at an airport. Our Quinjet's down, so here we are. A very Whedon-esque, taking the superpowered and putting them in a humanizing situation where the audience goes, "They're just like us." And in the background, you just see some guy. Sorry, you can't smoke in here. This is an airport. Shut your pie hole.
Or going through the metal detector and setting it off. No, I was thinking more in the Captain America movie. They have a flashback to World War II. Oh yeah, we got a Canadian working with us this time. Just some dude smoking a cigar with some chops.
You're going for the overtly awesome. I'm going for the
subtle background.
The subtle nod. The little.
Yeah, I bet Marvel regrets selling those rights off so much. because they know that they do it way better, and I know they do it way better than.
I agree and disagree. I think for now, they're glad that they don't have to try and get out a Fantastic Four or a Spider-Man. I think they would want.
I think X-Men they'd want.
X-Men's doing all right.
But just to have, I think they imagine the X-Men in costume. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm
so
thinking,
cool.
yeah, and I'm thinking they can play ball with Sony.
Well, Sony's definitely more willing to play ball than Fox, I think. Fox is X-Men. Sony's
Yeah,
Spider-Man. Sony seems much more, but Fox, they want to build their own world with Fantastic Four and X-Men, so.
Yeah.
They're kind of being, it is Fox, and especially Whedon and Fox. That's like oil and water right there.
So I can see how they would want it. Like, they could play ball with Sony, I think, and get a little Spider-Man action. But I think the X-Men, they're probably just going to have to say, enough's enough. We have enough movies right now.
Yeah.
We have so much on our plate. That's it.
But the question is that affecting the comic books? The comic books lately have been a lot more focused on Avengers. Are they focusing on Avengers because that's their movies and that's where the money is, instead of focusing on the X-Men?
And you know what? I would have to disagree with the question as you stated it. I'm finding that I was never an X-Men guy, but I'm starting. I think they're better books right now. I think there's a lot more effort being put into both the art and the stories in the X titles that you've lent me, your hard copies that you've purchased legally from a convenience store, and
off the spinner rack,
right from the which I'm sure you've bagged and boarded and put under your bed.
It's beside my bed, actually. I use it as a nightstand. Which sucks when I spilt water all over it one time.
Your stack of comic books.
Do you want? I can show it to you. It's right behind me.
No, I know it's there. We're just discussing.
Anyways,
legality of our purchases, and so what I'm saying is, I think if anything, the Marvel Universe has suffered from the wave of adulation it's gotten.
You mean for the Avengers or just everybody in general?
The Avengers.
There is a lot. Avengers are like the X-Men in the 90s, where it's just a glut. And some of them are good, obviously, but there's a lot of bad.
And I don't even know if it's because it's a glut. I think it's because
there's a lot more Avengers comics than there ever was before. It used to be 2 or 3.
Yeah, Great Lakes, West Coast.
Yeah, Great Lakes, I don't think they had their own series. They had solo Avengers.
Yeah, the solo Avenger titles.
I don't even consider like all the individual characters as. No. But I mean actual Avengers titles. But now there's like hundreds. There's Secret Avengers, Avengers World, New Avengers,
Young Avengers,
Mighty Avengers, Uncanny Avengers, Just Avengers. Like it's like X-Men back in like the 90s when I stopped reading X-Men because there were so many X titles and they all sucked. It's getting kind of there with the Avengers.
And whether it's just I'm reading into it or if it's a fact, what I'm finding is that the characters that are the mainstays from the Marvel Cinematic Universe are stagnant and kind of in suspended animation. So they've had to switch to other characters, which I don't mind at all. Don't get me wrong.
The only one that I find that isn't true about is Iron Man. They really mess with Iron Man constantly. Different armors all the time.
But that's his shtick. That's selling toys right there. But that means that the other Avengers in the roster are getting, a little bit of showtime, a little on the stage, which I don't mind, except for their having to do crazy stuff to keep everyone reading Avengers, killing people for no reason, bringing in like crazy new people that don't even look like they stand outside of the Marvel Universe, and all of a sudden they're Avengers after meeting them on a derelict planet for the first time ever. Next thing you know, like, hey, we just met you. You want to be an Avenger?
Yeah. But
meanwhile, Cable's sitting at home going, "Sons of bitches! They won't answer my fucking phone."
Well, Cable now Cable's a terrorist now, so it doesn't count.
What's that?
Cable's a terrorist currently in the Cable in the X-Force. They think he murdered the X-Force murdered a bunch of people, so he's considered a terrorist, and the Avengers are hunting him down.
And he's not a terrorist. He was just trying to do something to get the Avengers to notice, so they'd offer him a job.
Actually, in Cyclops, his father is a terrorist too. It must run in the family.
Bishop is lazy.
Bishop?
Yeah.
Why?
Isn't it his job to be hunting these people?
No, Bishop's back, and now he was kind of insane for a bit, and now he's on the girl X-Men team.
Oh.
With Puck.
With Puck.
Although Cable's going to kill him too, actually, because Bishop tried to kill his daughter, so he's a little pissy.
Well, they're
That's all the side X-Men stuff right there. That's all the extra X-Men stuff that you don't bother reading. You only really read the Wolverine and X-Men.
and any of the crossover action with the but there are thoughts that it's Bishop that Khal Drogo is going to be playing.
Well, Bishop's in the new X-Men movie.
I saw him in the oh yeah, that's right. No, it wasn't him then, was it?
No, and that's Superman, Batman. So it'd be
Yeah, no, you're
they
right,
said
you're right.
Doomsday or
It was someone else that I knew. It wasn't. He's playing in something.
Idris Elba would be cool as Bishop.
It was someone else.
Johnny Depp is Doctor Strange. That's interesting.
That's. I hope Tim Burton's going to direct it.
That would be that almost work. I don't like Tim Burton, but for Doctor Strange, that might almost work. That would be nice and trippy and.
Hopefully, Helena Bonham Carter plays the amulet of Yun.
Or what's his Asian manservant?
Yeah, his houseboy.
What's his name? I never remember. Lang or something.
Yeah.
Wang? Is it Wang? It might be something funny like that.
Hey, perfect. We're writing the script already.
Helena Bonham Carter. But Johnny Depp, yeah. Or
Here's your tea.
Or it'd be Gore Verbinski would be directing him, like Pirates and Lone Ranger. And then it'd be a message about American colonialism.
Yeah, that's true.
Somehow in Doctor Strange story. Dormammu, Red Dormammu would be representing imperialism, and Doctor Strange would be the counterculture of the 60s.
People are going to shit all over it for raping their childhood anyways, so you might as well do it with a guy who's made a fortune out of raping a childhood. I'm doing the air quotes.
But, Doctor Strange, though, come on. I don't think there's too many childhoods that would be affecting. It's Doctor Strange.
Well,
I don't think I've ever read a Doctor Strange story, like actual comic.
a standalone, I probably have.
I can't think of any.
It'd have been one of those ones I was at a flea market.
Just
where
random, yeah.
Picked this up, I need something to read. Which is how I got a lot of comic books.
Oh yeah, me too. It was because when we were kids, it wasn't like now where there's there was comic book shops, but not like you wouldn't go in collecting. You'd go into a convenience store and you'd have like a bargain bin with like tons of just comics sitting there, or you go to a thrift shop or wherever and you just find cheap like piles of comics and you just buy whatever was there.
Root through, and I could almost get a full story here out of Jonah Hex 2045 or whatever it was. And,
it used to be you'd read it and it would be a middle of a story and you wouldn't care. You'd be just like, oh cool, look at those characters.
Yep.
Yeah, it was crazy. Oh yeah, I just got rid of half of my collection and that's what 90% of it was just random comics that I just picked up over the years.
And of course, back then, it was 75 cents for the comic book, and it was mostly comic book with some ads in the back for X-ray specs, some other ads in the middle, just a few.
For the mail order services, like Mile High and those kind of things.
You go door to door selling magazines.
Or those,
get an inflatable raft. Oh, okay.
Earn points to get all these great things.
Yeah.
1 million points for Telescope.
But now, it's... Hey, here I need $15, and here's 2 pages of comics and 18 pages of ads.
Well, yeah, theoretically the same number of, but then also the image generation. But the image generation, once Image came out and it was all about the art, there'd be like hundreds of splash pages, and see you'd just read a book in 2 seconds because it'd be like, okay, that's one image, and keep going, and you go through books so much faster just because there was.
Because one panel would be in the middle, and there would be like a couple on the outside where they talk, and you follow the arrow, and also, okay, that's one sentence.
Yeah. And then people like Brian Michael Bendis have turned that around now. It's just like you're reading a novel when you're reading his stories. It's just, and he writes like 8,000 comic books a month, so he has a lot of words in him.
Yeah.
He's a wordy fellow.
And it's quality. It's not like it's just stuff.
Some of it's quality. Some of it's maybe not so much.
I don't care for some of the stories that he does, but I've certainly read stuff that's not quality. I know there's an audience for his stuff.
He's not, I guess,
But
there's a difference between quality and good, like great,
Oh yeah.
He puts out a lot, and what he puts out is good. So overall it ends up being good. It's like Jeff Johns in DC, same thing, where he just puts out so much stuff that most of it's good. But he puts out a lot of stuff, so.
Did you hear Peter Parker's back as Spider-Man?
Yeah, they say in April, I think, is when he starts coming back for real.
I saw a picture of it. Hey, Peter Parker's back. And I looked at it. Whoever that artist is, and I think his name's Fabio or something. The artist, it's something.
There's a lot of Italian artists now in Spanish.
It was bad enough that I looked when Peter Parker's come back, but I think he has Down syndrome, and it's very cartoony, very almost. Yeah. It's and I took the time to look up the artist because I was so disgusted. I said, "Oh, that can't be." And I started looking at some of the other stuff he does, and I was like, "No, he's just bad."
Well, beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, but please, this is like God winning a conversation. This is like me going, "That guy's worse than Hitler." But it was Lee Fieldy. It was Lee Fieldy.
But Lee Field has fans, sadly.
Well, they must be people whose feet were amputated and they wear a lot of pouches because.
I'm looking at the newest issue of Superior Spider-Man that I bought. I'm trying to see if that's him. Pencils. No, this is Humberto Ramos. He's a really good artist. Actually.
Ramos, that's it.
You don't think? Oh, I see what you're saying. It's very cartoony. Yeah, it's cartoony. It's not bad. It's cartoony though. It looks like cartoons.
And it does look cartoony. And the one picture
he did a lot of X-Men comics, so I'm used to him.
It's Peter Parker's, and his eyes are all googly, and his skin. He's got a big brow and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my god.
This is just none of that is in this. I don't think. This is from what I can see, it's a lot of Venom.
And now in a comic book that has a bit of a comic slant, like a bit of a cheeky. That's fine. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. But for just the cover art for the Return of Peter Parker Spider-Man, I expected something a little more.
I'm looking at this. This comic looks pretty fun. Like it's art, so maybe it's just a bad picture.
Superior Spider-Man?
It's the latest issue of Superior Spider-Man, yeah.
Well, because that one's supposed to be fun.
Oh, yeah,
Doc Ock's hanging out with a
But isn't that what he's coming back in?
He's turning, yeah.
So I assume it's part of the same series. So.
He's turning the bad guys, the rest of the Sinister Six, into his henchmen for good.
Is he? That was a good conversation about some comic books. Well, there you have it. We talked about nothing, and we learned nothing, really, in the end. Thanks for listening. We're sorry. See you next time. Hey, Jack.
Hey, Rob.
Funny meeting you here.
In the studio, in front of the mic. It's uncanny.
It's not a regular occurrence anymore. Ever since Studio H got shut down for, well, things.
Violations. Health code violations. You know how it is.
Ever since that happened, it's not been as regular.
Speaking of regular, you regularly update your Twitter account.
I call it our Twitter account because it's Vinland OTR.
And what does that stand for, Rob?
Vinland Old Time Radio. That's this little podcast we do. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Have not.
That's funny because you record it. Oh, I didn't tell you were recording?
No, this is just me being me. Anyways, so if someone would want to follow your Twitter account.
Our Twitter account.
How would they do that?
At Vinland OTR.
Fantastic. And people who don't want to follow our Twitter account, who are on Twitter, you make baby Jesus cry. Live with that.
At Vinland OTR. 2 N's in Vinland. It's not Vineland, it's Vinland. If you can't spell, we don't want you.